What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing just an overall overview on the RZR. It's been a while since I've done an overview on what I've done, almost a year now, and I've done a lot to the machine, so I just kind of want to go over everything. So let's get right into it.
Feeling like I'm on a battlefield, I've been now on. First you tell me that you finished, then you said you wanted more. Every day is something different with you, tell me what you want. It's hard for me to reason when you barely want to talk, cause I've been on alone.
Alright guys, so we're just going to kind of start from the front, work our way to the back. So obviously you guys can see I actually painted the front fascia white. So what I did was I just kind of scuffed it up, took the whole thing off, scuffed it up, put some adhesion promoter on there, and then just did multiple coats of satin white that was designed for plastic. And it's been probably about 6 months since I've done that, and it's holding up really well. We've gone on a bunch of riding trips and haven't really had any issues at all. So that turned out really, really good. Also put the grill on there. That's different from before. That I got through Big Hammer Fab, and I had a buddy of mine powder coat it because I wanted the burnt orange around the turbos and the rest to be white. So really, really cool addition there. I did have some problems with the fang lights that I had on my previous video. I sealed them up really, really good, with the clear RTV. Put them in, and they were still filling up with water somehow, so I just ended up getting rid of those. I went with a set of OEM fang lights. Those are off of a 21 RZR XP Turbo, and I did actually seal those as well. So there seem to be a better quality than the Chinese ones, the OEM Polaris fangs. So I just did my due diligence to go ahead and give them a double layer protection with the clear RTV. I did put a new winch rope on. I had a whole new winch set up as far as the hook, the stopper, and the strap there, just to kind of clean it up. Just went with the all black. Obviously we've got some much beefier tires on here now. These are 33 System 3 XTR 370s, and these are ITP. I forget the exact model, but they are a 15-inch wheel. And man, I came from Carnivores, and these tires all around, I don't do a whole lot of mud. I do mainly trails and some street riding and things like that. And man, I took these to Hogwaller, which is a riding place near me where there's a lot of mud. Didn't get stuck once. Obviously, it's nice to have the turbo with the extra power down low, but these tires did really good. They were a little bit more aggressive on the street than the Carnivores, but the trade-off of the extra aggressiveness is you get this really nice sidewall bite. And that really helps when you get into like those trenched out trails where there's the tire tracks, and you can really bite the side to kind of pull yourself through, and that helped me out a lot in a bunch of different situations. So I would highly recommend these tires. Like I said, I was a Carnivore guy for quite some time, and my buddy had these, and I saw how he went through pretty much everything that I did, just a lot easier, and they look great too, really aggressive. If you're going to go with a 35, man, you better be lifted pretty good, because these are a 33 and they're really big for a 33. They're really meaty. They almost look like a 35, but I really like the look of them. I also am running 1.5-inch spacers, so it puts me at 72 wide, pretty much the same width as a stock Turbo S. Obviously, this is just a regular XP Turbo. But yeah, I really, really like the look of these wheels. And the tires are really, really great. I also picked up a set of these aluminum doors off of eBay. So these aluminum doors are $400, and just to be honest, they weren't the best quality. They look really, really good, but I had to wrap them. So this is a custom wrap job that I did. So I just used like a satin white, and I was actually able to heat up the OEM door decals off the OEM doors. I heated them up, pulled them off, and I put them onto the doors just to kind of incorporate, the colors back into the machine, into the doors. I didn't want to just have plain white doors. It just doesn't look that good, and the plain black didn't look good either. So I really like the look of this. They're holding up pretty well as well. I've used the machine a few times, so there's a couple spots where it peeled up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Also painted the rear fascia white, kind of the same situation as the front, just kind of took it off, scuffed it up real good, hit it with some adhesion promoter, and did like 3 or 4 coats of satin white. So that looks really great too, instead of just the plain old plastic black. Same thing on this side. Doors look really, really good. And then kind of go into the inside. So I ended up going with a set of Aces racing seats. So these are the Aces Apex style seats. They have the Daytonas too that are a little bit different, but I like that these are a really aggressive bucket. They're kind of a pain to get in and out of. Once you get used to it, it's not bad. But once you're in there, they hug you. They hold you in really well. So if you're kind of going over a bunch of like rough terrain and you're not getting bounced around like the stock seats, like you can actually, feel like they're holding you in place. And obviously with the harnesses too really helps. Same thing with the back. I went with some the same model, just in a split bench seat. So I still wanted to be able to get to my battery and all of that. I didn't want to have to pull the whole bench seat out to get to my battery or anything else under the seats. So this is a split bench, and it actually has a seat in the middle for, it's pretty much like a kid's seat. But my son, fits there if we're riding 3 up in the back, but it gives you the extra seat. So you can actually fit 5 people, 4 adults and a smaller kid. And it's all, it's all adjustable. You've got these pull straps here if you want to remove the seat out. The rear is a little bit of a pain because you do have to loosen up the harnesses to get the seats all the way out or take them out completely. So it's kind of a pain to get to your battery and stuff. Speaking of the battery, I went with a Optima Blue Top. I'm probably not going to be able to pull it out with one hand so you can see, but I really wouldn't go to any other battery at this point. The Optima Blue Top, sorry, the machine's a little dirty. We rode it a few days ago, but the best bang for your buck is going to be the Optima Blue Top. I've ran this machine. I'll get into the stereo here because I changed up the stereo a little bit. Like I said, lots of changes have happened recently, but the Optima Blue Top, I've ran this stereo for 3-4 hours bumping, and this is, so we'll kind of segue into the stereo here. So I've got 2 6.5 kickers and pods, and then the 2 centers are 8-inch scars. Behind the seat is a 3500 watt Rockville 8-channel that's running these 4. It's turned up like halfway, and these things absolutely scream. Super, super loud. And then I still have the 10-inch sub that's under the dash here that you can see. But what I did was I swapped out from the SSV sub. It just stopped working, so I swapped it out to a Scar 10. And man, that thing bumps. It shakes the whole machine. But I've ran this whole machine like that on mid to 3/4 volume for about 3-4 hours. And have never killed that Optima battery. It still has enough amperage even after all of that to start the buggy, no problem. It's never even struggled before. So pay the $350 and just be done with it. You don't have to worry about dual batteries or isolators or anything like that. Throw an Optima Blue Top back in there and don't look back. All right, guys, so next, this is still my same radio system. I have this Wet Sounds Bluetooth receiver, which is great. No big bulky Bluetooth radio that's hanging from here or having to integrate it somehow. This is really clean. It goes right where your factory switch mounts are. You've got power, play, pause, volume, skip tracks, everything right from here. So that powers everything. That sends signal to the subwoofer to turn on and the amp for the subwoofer. I've got the 10-inch sub, like I was saying, plus there's a kicker 8-inch or 800 watt amplifier under the dash, and then in the back is the amp for the speakers, the highs. I also integrated the iPad. This iPad actually has cellular service, you can see. So I have the ride command integrated. The one thing I will say, the ride command on the tablet is a lot better than the one that's on the factory ride command in the Razors, because when you go to the map, it's not just a black screen with a bunch of lines. You could actually see, from a satellite view. This is when we went to, I believe this is River Ranch. This is our last trip. You can actually see a satellite view of where you're at. It's not just, trying to follow the little spaghetti lines. You can actually track your rides and you can see exactly where you're at. So if you're like, all right, I don't know where this squiggly line goes, I can pull this up here and say, okay, up here is a sand pit, or, hey, we got to run parallel to, this group of trees right here. It's just a lot more specific. You can kind of see where we were just hanging out there, riding around. Then we kind of continued out. You can record all your rides. So you have all your rides and dates, how far you went. It's just a lot better, of an integration having it on the iPad. And like I said, this has cellular service, so I can use this whenever. I can track whatever rides, wherever I'm at. And this way, when I decide to go back, I can just click on the ride, and then it'll show exactly how, where the route is and how it's calculated, and I can just kind of follow as needed. So really, really solid there. The other thing I included was a front and rear camera. So let me show you how I did that before I pull it up on the iPad. So ended up doing this camera here, which it's in the original spot. I just had to grind out the center a little bit to fit the lens. So that's my front camera, so I can see where I'm going and see the things in front of me that I might not be able to see over the hood. And then I've got the rear camera here. I couldn't really mount this anywhere to where it made sense, so I just had the rear camera here from when I'm backing up, and that camera also I can run 24/7. So even while I'm riding, I can pull it up. You go here, and then so now you can see that's my rear camera. So now if I want to go to the front camera, it's the same app. So I just click on the other link here, you hit join, and then it'll pull up the front camera. And this is really cool for, you know, if you have something in front of you, like, you know, like a large log or something, you're not sure if you can clear it or not. You know, you can kind of gives you a better idea of what's in front of you, because, you know, just looking out, you can't really see. Even if you come up top, it's really hard to see what's in front of the nose. So, you know, having the ability to see what's right in front of you really helps. And then each time, you know, you can just kind of go in and, you know, switch back and forth. And it's kind of cool if you've got somebody riding behind you, you can see, you know, you don't have to keep looking back behind you. Oh, are they keeping up, or did something happen? Whatever. I can literally monitor everything that's going on behind me and whoever's following me, and make sure that they're good, even if you know, if I'm not looking back at them or not. So really cool to have both of these cameras, and probably one of my favorite things I've done in the machine. One little detail I'll say, which is really nice for transporting, is this brake. It's like a parking brake. So you just push your foot down and you just push your other foot over, and that locks the brake. So, you know, let's say, you know, you have a travel trailer or even just like an open trailer, and you don't want to throw 55 straps across the machine underneath it to hold it in place. That locks, obviously, all 4 brakes, and then you can throw, you know, like 1 or 2 straps around, keep it from going forward or backward. And, you know, with that lock, the machine's really not going to go anywhere. You know, you've got all 4 wheels locked. It just gives you that extra little bit of assurance that the machine's not going to roll around. You know, you're not going to roll in that park of the transmission where you have that little bit of slop forward and back. So you don't got to worry about messing up your the parking gear on your transmission. So that's another nifty little feature to have, especially if you transport your machine a lot. Another nifty little feature I added was a solar panel, and that's connected right to my battery. It's just like a tender. So again, I can sit out, and, you know, the entire time I'm playing music, the sun is actually charging my battery up. Even though that Optima does last a long time, it is nice to have a solar charger on there to keep the battery topped up. So that's a good idea as well if you're looking to just add that little bit of you know, assurance to know that your battery's not going to die when you're sitting somewhere playing music. Last thing, not a huge deal, but I definitely like the look of it better, is I put my whip lights on a like a adjustable bracket. So you can get these off like Amazon or eBay, but my whip lights were here, and in my camper they were just straight up and down, so they would actually scrape the top of my camper. So when I put them, you know, I call them in like race mode, because it looks like it's going fast even when it's sitting still. You know, it gives you that extra clearance. You don't have to worry about your whip lights scraping the top of you know, your toy hauler or your you know, enclosed trailer. And I think it looks a lot better. So something else to you know, consider, just to add that little personal touch to your machine. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to give you all a quick update. I do have a new video coming up soon. Me and the wife actually purchased a toy hauler. So I had an enclosed 8.5 by 20 that I converted, and it was really solid, but I really wanted something that was actually designed for, you know, with all the creature comforts and able to fit my machine, and, you know, had multiple beds and a real bathroom and all that. So stay tuned. That's going to be my next video. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.